This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by the new Gary Neville, the new Jamie Carragher of Sky Sports Boxing. We've relieved him of his touchscreen duties. What's your initial reaction? Well, it's the morning or the morning after the night before Usyk. Give me your thoughts, David.
First of all, I enjoyed the fight. What a good fight it was. I just thought AJ was much better. He did, he was more aggressive. He tried. He went to the body like we said he needed to do. He tried his heart out, but Usyk was just, even though I didn't think Usyk was as good as what he has been before, and I always wondered whether everything going off would have an effect on how he was. I don't think it was as good as what he was before. I don't think his feet were as great, but AJ was fantastic. Usyk was still better and still fantastic. What a load of bottle and art from them both, to be honest. And they were both tired men in there, but they give it everything. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it.
Fantastic performance, but by both. We saw moments when Joshua had him hurt. Was there times where Joshua could have got rid of him at certain times?
It looked like he could. It looked like he were capable of doing it. But this is what we always said is Joshua had the power to hurt him if he could get up close and land the shots. Just that he couldn't do it enough. More so in the first fight than the second fight. But in the second fight, he definitely had more success. We did say that Usyk, like I said, to the body, that would be key. But he was still, for the most part, still getting, single body shots off rather than going with combinations. But listen, he's just nitpicking. He gave his best, and he was competitive. It was, like you said, there were points in the fight where you thought, oh, hang on a minute. I think round 9, I think it was. He had some great success as well. But then Usyk comes back with an unbelievable round 10. But it's that's Alexander Usyk. I mean, I've said before, a lot of his fights, Breedis, Michael Hunter, Bellew, obviously, quite a few fights. After 6 rounds, you're looking at it and you think, oh, hang on a minute, there's not a lot in this. But it's what he does down the stretch, what he does in the championship rounds. And, he's had fights before, like against Breedis, where he has uncomfortable moments and he's getting banged around downstairs and you think, he looks uncomfortable and looks rattled a little bit. He's experienced fights like that before. The early rounds with Chisora, where it looked, the physicalities looked like, he could struggle with. But he's a warrior, and also he's very, very strong mentally, where he can ride those situations out and then, get his things back together and stay disciplined with his own tactics and game plans. And he's always a clear winner.
The recovery rate was unbelievable. Like we said, Joshua had him hurt at times, and Usyk came straight back. But going through the fight, how did you have Joshua ahead before the last 3 or 4 rounds? How did you have it?
No, I didn't. I thought Joshua did great, and he was very, very competitive. But I did think Usyk won it clearly. Yeah, I mean, I thought Usyk. I wasn't scoring it, but yeah, I thought Usyk won it clearly. I think AJ. I think probably maybe about 4 or 5 rounds. I think maybe. But yeah, listen. There was a lot of rounds where it looked like if AJ did a little bit more, he was backing him up and he was much better defensively and everything. He did so much better. And he looked so much more imposing. He was dictating things much better. His jab was even better. He was landing some good quality jabs as well. But there were too many gaps in the rounds where AJ was waiting for the shots, and Usyk could be just peppering, and so just getting out hustled and outworked a little bit in the rounds.
What did you make of the 115, 113 scorecard to AJ?
Okay, it's the same sort of thing. There's always somebody who's watching something different to everybody else. It's almost like there's always a judge that's asleep watching something on his iPhone. having a look at the crowd, probably celebrity spotting, having a look at a crowd who's there over in Saudi, because he wasn't watching the fight. If that's what is, if that's what he's saying.
We have to talk about it. It's hard to knock someone when they're down, but what did you make of the after fight speech? A lot of emotions in there for AJ.
So I think it's very difficult to understand what was going on. They're grabbing all of the belts and throwing. They're not his belts, so he shouldn't be touching those belts anyway. It's not like he was champion. He's I've got beat slinging them. Here you go. It weren't even his belts, so he shouldn't touch the belts anyway. But the problem is you've just had somebody give his absolute all, and he'll be fucked. Completely gassed. Listen, he showed so much bravery and heart in that fight, so much balls. You cannot say the kid's not got desire and determination. You cannot say that. I mean, he gets beat. He goes in straight away for the rematches. It's twice he's done that. He goes and then he tries. He's obviously he's got options of having easier fights, learn on the job, become a better fighter, get used to your new coaches, whatever. But it doesn't. It does take a tough route, and he gave his all. He was shattered. He showed he's got bollocks in the fight. Kept going, kept trying, giving it his best. So he'll be tired, and his mind will be all over the place. But that looked like something more for me, and I think people don't quite either understand, or people don't want to understand the possibilities, because he's earning so much money, and because we always get this where top earning sports stars, or celebrities, because they've got absolutely millions and millions and millions in the bank. How can they be affected by stress? How can they be affected by pressure? Or I'd have that pressure if I got that sort of money. And that's the kind of way that a lot of us look at people and say, and even when I was younger, I would be like, how can you be stressed? You're a multimillionaire. What have you got to worry about? But as you get more understanding about people and understanding about how problems, how people have problems and how life comes at you, just because you've got money doesn't mean that you're not affected by the pressures and the weight of the expectations. I was talking here with my wife just now. I've got back home and talking with family, and obviously my kids have always been big fans of AJ, and what's happened, and you've got to understand this kid as boxing was. It was like, listen, boxing's always got superstars, and it's always waiting for the next wave, but when AJ came along, there wasn't no big stadium shows. There wasn't. You wasn't getting Cardiff sold out, Wembley Stadium sold out, things like that. And he's brought another generation of fans, another dimension of fans to the game. He's done a lot for the game, and with that, he's brought obviously big blue chip companies into the game for sponsorships, endorsements, and things. Not just for him, but filtered into the sport of boxing. Mm-hmm. So he's crossed over, and he's done a lot for the sport. And then also on the back of that, the money that he's brought in through pay-per-views and things like that have filtered into other fighters getting bigger opportunities, boxing on big shows and getting paid more money. Like what I was saying to my family is, we've got a certain element of our lifestyle to look at and think, well, that kind of comes from Joshua, because if Joshua hadn't taken the sport to what it was, along with Matchroom, and they've done what they've done, then Tony Bellew would never have earned that sort of money against David A, and then we wouldn't have got that money I earned from Tony Bellew. You know what I mean? And that's where when our lives changed. So there's a lot of people that it's not just the fighters directly, and then the people that are around those fighters. It's just around AJ. It filters into other fighters that have had opportunities that perhaps wouldn't have come because there wouldn't have been the TV money there to back the promoter, to get the events on, to get the opportunities for the fighters. So there's a lot to look at there, and with that comes the whole pressure that he had. Everything that he does, if he, and we know that he's always speaking to fans, he's always acknowledging them when he's walking about this, but anything that he does that's that's probably not so. You know, he's having a bad day, pissed off with somebody, ignores me. Well, it's blown up. It's blown up, and then you've got this where people can't seem to be both Fury and AJ fans. Like everyone who's an AJ fan, then they became a Fury fan. Because Fury didn't have all them fans all of a sudden, and then before, and then all of a sudden he's very, very popular through his achievements and how he is. But it seems like he can't be fans of both. So there's so much hatred and stuff that goes beyond them, that goes between the fans about each fighter. And again, you're not inhuman. You're seeing the tweets, you're seeing the stuff about people celebrate your defeats and your failures, and you know, and he'll have wanted to have won for himself. You know, he'll have wanted to have won for himself. But then, I suppose if you make a mistake or if you lose, not only is that impacting you and your dreams, what you want to achieve, but you're also you're thinking about that it's going to come your way and stuff like that. And I kind of listen. I'm not no mind expert, but I it was wrong. But I felt sorry for him. It felt more than just a bad loser and a spoilt brat. It didn't feel like that. It felt like somebody who was having the pressures of everything just hit him all of a sudden, and his mind just thought it just needed this release. You know, we all have moments in his lives where we snap, where we lose his temper. You know, you might snap at kids, snap at your missus, or snap at your work colleagues or something. When you think, well, I overacted there. That really didn't warrant that. Everybody does it. It's just that he's done it on the back of a really hard fight where he's absolutely fucked, and the pressure of everything's just hit him, and he's just exploded. And it's kind of like a little, I don't like to use the word, like a little bit of a mental breakdown sort of thing. It looked like he had a little bit of a breakdown, and then to see him in the press conference, upset and emotional and crying, and you know, people always talk about, oh, AJ is just a PR robot and this, and then he's showing emotions. There's emotions that came out in the ring, and that was him. That was real, you know, real emotions coming out, and that shows he's a real person. Then being upset at the press conference as well. I just think he needs looking after right now. I just think he needs people to put their arm around him and listen. There's far worse people far worse off, but that doesn't mean that you can't have your own problems. You can't have stuff that's going off in your life that's causing you stress and anguish and upset. You know, just because, you know, there are people worse off than you doesn't make your problems that you've got right now less. You know, that doesn't make them, you know, as though they don't affect you. And so just because somebody's in a fortunate financial position doesn't mean that they don't need their arm putting around them emotionally and when they need it. Because no matter what the facade and how you have to be as a fighter, as the head of a business, a brand, you know, you have to have this image and strong, big heavyweight or whatever. You're still a human being with a brain that's quite soft, you know. And so I feel that the people around him need to look after him, and you know, listen, let him have a rest.
Yeah,
the guy in the media all the time, and you know, he's been talked about all the time, and obviously he's going to be talked about now. But for him personally, I would say just get off of social media. Don't check it. The people that you care about will probably have got your phone number. So if they want to get in touch with you, they've got your number. Everybody else, really, if they haven't got your phone number, mate, then, and you know, if you ain't got their phone number, then you know, what does it matter?
Yeah, because he's mentioning he wants to be straight back. I mean, again, it's hard to really judge what he was saying after that fight because he was speaking with emotion. It was, like we said, such a valiant effort by AJ and all that hard training, and he just couldn't get his man. But he's mentioning to fight in December, but arguably, like you said, he really needs to have some time away and to just find himself again, really, and get away from the spotlight.
Listen, the reaction was either, like I said, a spoiled brat somebody who ain't got his own way and is a bad loser, can't take that, or it was somebody that was going through a lot of mental stress and a lot of anguish and needs a little bit of time to take care of that side of things. And I don't see AJ as a spoiled brat and as a sore loser. He's always been dignified. He's always, he's very, very realistic in them terms. But it's like how he was trying to justify himself, talking about in the ring on the mic, trying to talk about, where he's come. We all know his story, but he's trying to justify himself even more because it's almost like he's preempting that because he knows the backlash he's going to get because he got beat again. And he's trying to remind you, look, go steady with me because, I didn't start as a young kid. I've come to this. So again, that's the pressure of knowing what's coming. So I would, if I was around him, if I was advising him, I would say, listen, mate, you've been brilliant. You've had a great career. I'm not saying retire. Just have a little bit of you time. He's got a family. He's got a kid. If you switch off from boxing, if you want to do a bit of training, do a bit of training, but don't, just switch off, just relax and just be you. If you want to let, drop down from a 6-pack to a 2-pack, do it. I mean? Just enjoy life for a little bit, and then, then you're fresh and you feel good again. Then get back in the gym and go again because he showed he's improving. He's still learning on the job. He's still improving. Doing different things, looking at a different look to what I've seen before. He looked more menacing than I've seen him before yesterday. So there's a lot of good things for him to take from the fight. It's just that for me, the mind thing, the mental side of things, he just needs to take care of first before he goes back in. He will always be able to improve the physical side of things, but just take care of your mind yourself first.
Just picking on something you said earlier on about how important Anthony Josh has been to British boxing. How damaging is this to British boxing in your eyes, if it's damaging at all?
Of course, because you listen. If AJ comes back, do people still want to watch him box? Of course, 100%. And he looks like he's getting better. You wouldn't want to see him fight any other big heavyweight fights that are out there. Even the domestic fights, you wouldn't want to see AJ fight again. Of course you would. So there's even more intrigue. Can he come back now? So it doesn't affect that side of things. It's about him. How much does he really want to? If he's got that same desire to continue working hard, but also perhaps to make himself a little bit more uncomfortable and not just have I don't know, but have people telling you the uncomfortable truths around you, then there is a future left for him in the division. But he's earned a good little rest. I think he's earned a good little rest. And then, like Eddie said, getting back active again, not just boxing once a year. Go back active again, and then he's going to improve more, and he's got more to come.
The next fight we all hope for is the Tyson Fury and Usyk unification. Just to get your initial thoughts after that performance, how does that one go down?
I'd love to see it. First of all, I don't know what Tyson's doing. Everyone's always second guessing him. Is he going to retire? He's retired. Is he going to come out of retirement? I've always thought he'll watch AJ Usyk. If AJ wins, 100% he comes out. If Usyk wins, it depends on how he looks, whether he comes back out of retirement. I think after looking at last night, he definitely comes back because to become unified, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, that would be the fitting end to the Tyson Fury boxing story, because it's been a hell of a story, a hell of a ride. So many dramas and things like that, and that's the pinnacle, isn't it? That's the pinnacle of the sport. But you never know. I mean, with him, he might just turn around and go, "I'm not bothered." That's it. But I kind of think he would be, and I'd like to think that he would be, because that'd be the fight, definitely.
away from the actual action itself, something that was hotting up on Twitter was the spat between Carl Froch and Conor McGregor. Now, you were in the studio with Carl. What do you know? What was Carl saying?
It'll fuck him up.
Go on, give us low down. Did he say anything at all? Was Carl watching the fight and on his phone going, "Oh, this bloody blow, how's it going down?"
I said to Carl, listen, if it get him in that boxing ring, not a problem. Not a problem. Carl had smash him in a boxing ring. But if it's out of that boxing ring, I'm not sure about that.
It'd definitely be entertaining. But yeah, I mean,
Listen, McGregor, I think I love his personality. I think he's great. And yeah, it'd be fun. Listen, Carl, who won't want to see that? Who won't want to see that? I mean, Carl's yeah, he's still in good shape. Carl's still in good shape. He's only a couple of years younger than me. I didn't realise he's 45 years, but he's in good nick, still solid. Definitely a good scrap. But yeah, if he's boxing, 100% back Carl all the way. If he's in a cage or on a street, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
There's definitely one that intrigues the fight fans. Coming back to the action, what did you make of Zhang and Hrgović performance? Quite an odd one, really, from Hrgović, wasn't it?
It was, and I said something to the guys in the studio. I'm not saying it is. I don't know, but I know Philip's had some family tragedy, hasn't he? He lost his dad not long ago. This is his first fight since that, and it didn't seem as though he seemed lost. It seemed lost. It was weird. It was lost. He did really well to get out the win and to get through it, but there's so many points there in the fight where his concentration, looking away. I didn't understand what he was doing. I don't know if that was an effect. I don't know if his mind, once he got in the ring, his mind wasn't there. Because that has happened to fighters. It has happened to fighters where everything seems all right with them. They get in the ring, they're just not there. They're lost. You know. So again, emotions are very, very difficult. Everybody's emotions are unique. You know, how one reacts to circumstances don't mean the next person can react to the same set of circumstances in that way. So yeah, strange fight. And Zhang, he was better than what I thought it was going to be. I think it was teed up for Hrgović to look pretty good, right? But it ended up just being a real rock'em sock'em type of like slow motion, weird heavy fight. I mean, even down to the water on the ring and stuff like that. Sort that shit out, because you know, even in the main event, that could have been something where, say, one of them bouncing about, moving around, and slips and gets caught at the same time, and the fight's over. In fact, I think Zhang slips and gets caught on the back of the head by Hrgović as he's going over. I mean, if that had been more concussive and he loses the fight because of that, that's so they need to make sure that sort of stuff gets sorted. I know when they're over here, I don't know who did the ring over there, who did the artwork over there for the canvas, but I know over here we don't have that much issue, because good old use a certain sort of paint that's really is very good when it's under pressure from the water. So yeah.
This morning, or well, about an hour ago, sorry, Chisora's posted a graphic of Chisora versus Zhang, war in China. What did you make of that?
That'd be a tear up. That'd be fun. Yeah, why not? Why not? Listen, Derek just loves to fight, and he looks at people that I'd like to fight him. That'd excite me. That'd give me the buzz. So yeah, if that's who he's targeting, then yeah, it'd certainly be a good fight.